out on Monday the 16th. The reason I'm doing the stream right now is my microphone was actually off, and so was my speaker during the event. I basically also forgot to shut off the stream, so it was on for 7 hours. So what basically happened was I had a 7-hour stream with no sound. I erased that. So I'm gonna do this stream right now. So tomorrow, most likely, I may not stream earlier in the morning. So I'm gonna try to get the stream on right now. The plan is I'm gonna go over the patch notes and to let people know about the big changes that are also coming in for Catalyst Black on the latest patch. So I'm going to try to use this program I have that actually can read websites.
Greetings, Chosen. 2 years of active beta development have led us to this moment, the launch patch. In preparation for the big day, patch 0.20 focuses on general improvements to ensure the smoothest game both inside and outside of the battlegrounds, but there are some surprises in store. At your request, parties can now host 5 players. New quests are also introduced and gear is significantly cheaper to purchase. We threw a massive thank you bundle in the shop for your support during beta as well. You don't want to miss it. Looking ahead, every new player that downloads Catalyst Black brings richer combat and social experiences. Launching Catalyst Black means we can begin designing new primals, weapons, modes, and other exciting features that will keep gameplay fresh. For now, this is the game you helped shape, and it's time to share that with the world on May 25th. Join our Discord to connect with the community. Sean. Lagged. Thank you bundle. Over the past 2 years, we've been blessed to have your support. The beta began just beyond the prototype stage and since then has transformed with all new modes, revamped combat feel, and rewarding progression systems. A game cannot thrive without an active community, and you have all given a sense of purpose to our development. To show our appreciation for your consistent feedback as well as compensation for vaulting certain abilities, a thank you bundle is available in the shop until launch containing 2x Astral Chest, 2x Tetrad, 2x Ot Mandrel, 2x Temporal Rush, 2x Knock Mask, Relic, and Power, 50k Dust. Bigger parties.
So when they say 2x knock mask, they mean you're going to get 2 masks, you're going to get 2 relics, and you're going to get 2 powers. It's going to be the default ones that you get for knock, but there are some players who don't even have knock, who've been playing for almost 2 years, like since the beginning of the beta, and they still don't have knock. So it's kind of cool that knock is the one that they gave, because like new players now, they'll reach knock at 50. Everybody who didn't go through the ascension before that, like myself and most other players, you ain't getting knocked. This is the only way it's gonna happen. Some people are lucky, they got it already, but like I said, it took me to get Lumia Isia. I got Lumia Isia like 2 months ago, and I've been playing also for 2 years, and there are other people who be like, hey, look what I got, ISO, I got a Lumia Isia. So they used to think it was real funny. It wasn't funny. It was cruel. It was mean. So I used to get that a lot. Is the sound still working? I hope so. What happened to the speakers? Did that stop? What? Weird. Yeah, they didn't. I actually brought that up to I brought that up to Kyle in the creators section when I first saw these patch notes maybe about 3 days ago, and I was like, are you all gonna nerf Isia, Lumia Isia also? I was like, well, because they nerfed all of the Isia powers, it should also nerf Lumia Isia. But I'm like, the problem is currently there was the variant of Lumia Isia is far superior to normal Isia, and the way it's supposed to be is for all of her benefits, she was supposed to have lower health to offset the fact that she's faster, she's stronger, she used to last longer back in the good old days when there used to be a duration. So the only way you can make them different, but besides their infusions, is Lumia Isia for all of her gains, she has a very low health bar. So I'm like, are you gonna do that? Because if not, she's better in every way compared to normal ECF. And I'm like, it was never, that wasn't supposed to be how it was. So yeah. Actually, all of the abilities still work fine. What happens is it's just gonna take me a little longer to kill stuff, but it's still gonna require just moving around and then using the attacks. The only one I see that's gonna be a little bit difficult is gonna be deep freeze. So people who are gonna get easier right off the bat and have to play deep freeze are gonna be like, wow, she sucks. We're back to the same issue that Isia always had, where you only could get 1 or 2 deep freezes per duration. You're in a situation like that again. Like if you were lucky, you got 3 off back in the good old days. Now, when they had changed the duration and made it super low, you were lucky if you got 2 off. So this is gonna be kind of crazy. Yeah, I still can use it. I'm not worried about that. I'm pretty sure it should still work out. The reason they keep having to nerf her is a lot of people don't know how to play against her. Because right now, I can play multiple builds that I can actually knock people out of Lumia easily. I've done it. Like, it's not that hard. It's just, I don't think a lot of people understand how much movement that you have to do. Or back in the good old days, too, you used to be able to, because of the way her attack came out, you can actually kept feigning where you were going, and the person would attack and you dodge the opposite direction. I used to make people miss with her all the time. It doesn't matter. It all has to do with zoning. It doesn't matter. And you guys don't use Seeking Storm. I do. And Seeking Storm, I don't think that got nerfed. You guys don't use it. I use it all the time. Seeking Storm hits for 2,000. Half the times when I'm fighting with Isia, Polar Vortex is there taking some damage off. Seeking Storms are hitting simultaneously at the same time. It drops every 3 seconds. It's over 2,000 damage. 2 or 3 of the Seeking Storms take out most people. That's how I play it. That's why I'm not a Shiver Shroud fan. I doubt it. I don't even play Wing Sweep. So, we'll see. I doubt it. But let's get the patch and play it, because if I'm still doing what I'm doing, pretty sure it's gonna work out. It's, again, paper. What seems great on paper, even if it wasn't nerfed or whatever, I don't have that much trouble fighting people with Wing Sweep. So whatever, like, there's 1 or 2 players who play it. Most people play Polar Vortex. They're gonna switch to Wing Sweep. Corral can bring it in, and once the Wing Sweep is on cooldown, if I'm playing Janks, I could take it out. The only people who really can't fight it is Sunder and it's really Sunder and Torden. But Nock can poof in and still screw it up. So it is what it is. Yeah, I know, but I know how to counter that too. I've played around them, and I used to play against people who are really, really good at it. Polar Vortex is still probably the best counter on it, because while you're wing sweeping, you can't move. Polar Vortex range didn't get lowered. It's just its damage. It takes a little longer, but you still should be able to beat her. Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's gonna probably be a little bit more difficult to use the nerfed abilities, but they nerfed her before. They keep messing around with her kit, making things longer, making damage take away. Here's the thing. The way Kyle explains it too is they might push stuff down really low, and then judging on how it plays, if it's too much, they'll go slowly creep it back up to try to match up. Like, one of the things that they're doing with the Lost Dreamer is the Lost Dreamer is constantly being pushed up in damage, because right now the Lost Dreamer, compared to every other rifle in the game, ain't that great. Another thing I found out talking to Kyle today, the Lost Dreamer is supposed to have a 12.6 range. The ARs are supposed to have longer ranges than all of the battle rifles. Every AR is supposed to have a longer range than a battle rifle. Currently, that's not true. Right now, the longest range of the rifles is actually Sincerity at 11.1. So he goes, that looks like a bug. They already did. They dropped it from 2 to 1. It still was fast, but it went from 2 charges of polar vortex. It went to 1 charge of polar vortex. So they have nerfed it already, and you had to work around that. Corral was nerfed probably one of the best because Jenks Corral was super fast. Like I could get Corral back to back to back over and over again. They lengthened its cooldown, and that's worked out pretty well. And it makes you have to play a little bit smarter with Jenks. But every time the Corral comes up, you can do some good damage. But before, it used to be super easy to abuse. You could just keep dropping Corrals every like 4 or 5 seconds. Just another Corral would drop on. I think they pushed it almost to 10 seconds. So it works out. I think it does. Like I said, if it's too low, all we do is we play it and just say like, yeah, it's too much of a nerf. You got to give it some damage back. You don't have to give it all of it back, but maybe give it a half of what you took off back. That's probably might be it. Again, I have to play it to see, because I still think I can do the zoning. I just think Deep Freeze is going to suffer a lot. Deep Freeze is going to have a lot of troubles.
Parties have been increased to 5 players. Rejoice and fill up a whole team together. As the number of active players skyrockets with global launch, bigger parties will facilitate the sense of deep team play that the game was built on. Visual improvements. Across the game, improvements to various UI elements are in. Most notably, the play menu has been simplified to make getting into matches more direct, including collapsing the rotating modes into one node. In Hydra, the map has received art polish to stay on par with the other environments. Or look better than the rest. You tell us. The refined gold count and activity tracker also add clarity to the mode's objective paths. Economy. In speaking with the community, we heard that the price of gear was too expensive and Quint was taking too long to collect. These changes transform Quint into a more dedicated currency, only being earned from chests and existing to help you with infusing the items you love most instead of for finding new gear. Additionally, the drop probabilities for chests should now give new players a smoother flow of collecting gear. Early players can focus more on infusions and leveling their gear, while veteran players will find it easier to get the last pieces of unowned epic and rare gear, with legendary gear still being hard to come by. If there's an item you're after, wait for it to become starlit. Quests. You should be proud of the gun type you rock the most, but don't be afraid to switch it up. New quests have been added to deal damage with different weapon types. The number of campaign quests has been reduced and should now feel less overwhelming for new players. To make up for this change, each offers more shards, helping build out loadouts early on. Companion quests have received a similar treatment to campaign quests. Chests. Dust per star chest 150-230, Astral chest 750-1150. Quint per star chest 50-90, Astral chest 250-450. Duplicate items are now more likely to drop. Moon chest Quint payout increased, 1030. Shard cost for chests on the chest meter reduced to 800 shards. Rotating shop. Tab renamed to Quint. Focuses on purchasing duplicate gear items. New items will primarily come from chests. Refreshes every 6 hours instead of daily.
Nice.
The Quint and Mark prices for gear have significantly decreased. Go out there and get infusing. Vaulting some abilities. Throughout the beta, we have greatly enjoyed seeing.
Yeah, so that's the good part, is the way they explain it. And Nexi was able to show it in the TikTok that he did. Like, the flow of getting shards and everything is a lot faster. Like, you play a certain amount of matches, you'll be able to get the shards faster, so you can actually open up the chests, and it's gonna play a little bit better, hopefully. I still think it'd be nice for your gear to get your XP from the end of matches. I just think that's a more efficient way than basically random chests giving it to you. But yeah, I don't know. That's still a choice that they choose to make. That I get you want random gear to upgrade, but you should make the moon chest do that. But there should be a more direct way for me to upgrade the gear that I just played. I just think it makes more sense. I don't care if it was a lot of XP, but I would think like even 10 XP is still better than none. It's still better than nothing. Yeah, what's up, Sohan? I gotta read. I'm doing this actual. I'm actually doing this because my earlier stream, my microphone was messed up. The devices were pointing away from the microphone and the speakers. So everything I did from the event where Wild Dev appeared, I have none of it saved. It was just I had it all recorded, but no sound. Yeah, so it's kind of pointless. Monday, the 16th. Wolf Hands, before he got off, confirmed it, and also in the content creator stuff, when they showed us this a copy of this stuff, he actually listed it. He's like it's coming out the 16th. So it's this Monday. Like I said, early next week. It was the only logical thing for them to do. So it's definitely going to be Monday. They're pushing it out on Monday. So let's go through here.
Seeing the wide range of loadouts and playstyles that have evolved over time. While primary and heavy weapons and trinkets saw deep experimentation, abilities have always been an area of stagnation. Some abilities were used extremely frequently, such as Temporal Rush and Primal Fire, while others, including Windwalker Totem and Grounding Bolt, had nearly no playtime. In addition to usage problems, there are some important design decisions that we've recently made around many abilities. The first is that, in general, we don't like the way selfish support abilities are working out. This includes abilities such as Heal, Renewal, and Protection. We would prefer to see these executed in a more support-oriented loadout and playstyle to get players working together rather than the lone wolf tactic that they currently encourage. The second is that with the base movement speed increase we recently added, we want to be more conscious of the methods that players can gain and use from movement speed buffs. Sprint, Catalytic Sprint, and Windwalker Totem merely increase your movement speed, and while this can be fun, it can also be difficult to balance in a way that feels fair to play against and worthwhile over higher output options. With the changes we've made to base movement speed, we do not feel that these mobility options are engaging any longer, especially when compared to abilities such as Leap Attack, Blink Strike, and Temporal Rush. Lastly, invulnerability.
So, the funny thing about that, when he was explaining it, is he goes that there's a lot of people, whenever they got Temporal Rush or Blink, they stopped using Sprint. And I'm like, that's true, but still Sprint was the superior movement ability, especially if you infused it. I should know, because once I got it to like level 5 or level 6, when mods were still around, my movement speed increase was like 120. So I used to be 120% faster than everybody else once I used my Sprint. So the people who knew how fast it was and how long it lasts, we were still using it. Other people be like, oh, it's not, Temporal Rush is better. Not really. It lasts longer than Temporal Rush, and I can go way further than Temporal Rush can in any day. And it had cool stuff like Double Down on it. So once you used it, you not only were you fast, you also could do you could do like 10% more damage. So to me, that was actually kind of cool. But the way Kyle was explaining it, no, they're removing 3 gap closing abilities. They're getting rid of Sprint, Catalytic Sprint, and Windwalker Totem. That's what they're removing. Blink Strike is still there. They're only removing 13, and they go through the list. But you're losing Sprint is gone, Catalytic Sprint is gone. And the funny thing is, the way Kyle explained it, he goes, it's kind of boring. To him, it's like it's the only way you can make Sprint better is increasing the speed and increasing its duration. Those are the only 2 ways to make it counteract how good Temporal Rush and Blink Strike is already. And he goes, the way Blink Strike and Temporal Rush work, they're a little bit more interesting. I was joking and I said, hey man, imagine you guys made a catalytic Temporal Rush. And he's like, I'd rather do a catalytic Temporal Rush before I bring back, what do you call it, Sprint or Catalytic Sprint. I was like, what? I thought that was hysterical. A catalytic Temporal Rush. Imagine you have 4 guys on your team, and you're all standing at the corner of each standing at a corner of a primal. So you form an X. As soon as you hit Temporal Rush, everybody like X goes to the opposite corner that they were, making a giant freaking X over the primal. But he was like, yeah, to me that's more interesting. Like multiple people getting Temporal Rush from one Temporal Rush use versus doing a Catalytic Sprint. So I was like, that's crazy. But it is kind of interesting that like the idea he has behind it is it's just like a cooler ability. Those temporal rush is a cooler ability. Temporal rush also didn't have the drawback of leap attack. So that was one of the reasons like it was kind of cool. They also got rid of shield. Shield was hot, but they got rid of that one too.
Invulnerability is a mechanic we believe should be used very specifically and sparingly. With patch 0.18 recently overhauling trinkets, we saw gravitation toward Clemency Vial combined with protection, which can create a frustrating gameplay situation for opponents. Protection also happens to fall under the selfish support ability playstyle that we want to see less of. While it's fun to be invulnerable and attack with impunity for a while, it is something that tends to create a lot of negative feelings when playing against. With the way it is currently, protection can be very difficult to play around when compared to an ability like Clemency Vial, where you are able to auto-activate the perk at a certain health threshold. Finally, we believe vaulting a lot of these abilities will open up design space to create more interesting abilities in the future. We feel that all of the remaining abilities offer distinct and diverse gameplay options and are looking forward to adding more abilities in the future to introduce additional gameplay styles.
So, and one of the things Kyle explained too is instead of bringing some of them back, they may bring them back as infusions on top of a certain ability, like concussive mines and volatile mines. If you literally, I got concussive mines because I couldn't get volatile mines. As soon as I got volatile mines, guess which one I used? Volatile mines. You get more volatile mines, they recharge faster, and they do more damage. What's there to think about? Why would I use concussive mines if I have volatile mines? And the idea is he's saying like, so maybe you take one of the infusion levels on volatile mines, you give it a slow, so you can actually have a volatile mine that behaves like a concussive mine. Or imagine grounding a fire, primal fire that also has a slow. So it could, a lot of those things, because the abilities were similar anyway and they weren't getting used. Grounding bolt is a strong ability. It was kind of neat, and it's just comparatively, people were using heals way more. People were using temporal rush way more, blink strike way more, protection way more, so shield way more. Like they're using all of those versus using that. So that's one of the reasons why like I could get like it being removed, even though it's a cool ability. Like I like sprint a lot, but I also got the fact that people were starting to move as fast as the Flash across the screen, just running at you, killing you, and then running away. And they come at you so fast you can't even stop them. And then if you imagine you take Rectful Circlet, and then after you get the speed boost coming out of the bush, you drop and sprint, and then you continue running at people. Yeah, all the speed bonuses stack. They don't get less. They just stack on top of each other. So yeah, it can get oppressive real fast. And if a person's running out of a bush so quickly that you can't even react, that's a bit too fast. Another fun fact: I asked Kyle, did they? Well, what they did with that is they shortened the cooldown of it. I don't know. Like to me, I don't. The problem with Harbinger is it doesn't amplify your damage, and Harbinger doesn't give you fortified health when you get it. Those are the two reasons I think it's kind of whack. Honestly, they should just make Harbinger play exactly like a Paragon buff. But that's what it is. It literally gives you a Paragon buff. If it gave you the Paragon buff, the speed, the health regeneration, the what do you call it? The slight more damage and the slight more speed. If you gave all those three, Harbinger is actually worth it. Without the extra damage, also, it doesn't feel like anything. I don't like it. I have mine highly infused because of Harvest Quest, but it's not one of my favorite things. Like I've used it and captured the flag. The speed bonus is so minor that it doesn't feel like you got a speed bonus. All it does is make you bigger and your bullets bigger. That's pretty much it. The duration is being increased, so maybe that's gonna make it play a little bit better.
styles. We appreciate that many of you will have invested into some or all of the vaulted abilities, and in order to compensate for this, we doubled the size of our originally intended thank you bundle to try and offset some of this loss while still showing how much we value your support. We truly believe that the game will be better for having these abilities vaulted. TLDR, list of abilities being vaulted: Heal, Renewal, Protection, Shield, Sprint, Catalytic Sprint, Catalytic Protection, Catalytic Shield, Quake Totem, Windwalker Totem, Grounding Bolt, Warden, Concussive Mine.
So another one is the Warden was kind of cool because it was a protector. And what it kind of helped do is also whenever you landed next to allies, you gave them a small shield. So the Warden didn't completely suck. And it was different enough. It had a longer range, longer cooldown, and it had that shielding capability. So I'm not sure what they mean by selfish, or I guess nobody was using it. Like 1 or 2 players were, so that might have been it. That you keep saying dust refund again. It's a beta, and you got to understand, while you're living inside a beta world, things could change dramatically, instantaneously. No, he explained, giving each individual person's dust refunds is not as easy as you think it is. And it would not be simple to go account by account and find out, wait, what did he have? What are we taking away? Let's give him dust. Nah, it's not that easy. That's literally why they gave you 50k dust. If you get 50k of dust, you can literally upgrade at least 2 of those abilities almost to level 18. So if you were getting Temporal Rush, or if you got something that's low, you can get things up to almost level 18, 2 abilities with that. So there is ways to offset it. You got the bonus of playing longer. You got the bonus of having a lot of gear. You got the bonus of whatever. But if they vault something, give you dust, nah. It's not everything has to be compensated 1 for 1. You have a lot more than everybody else who's going to start after you. It's not necessary. The key thing you do is you adapt and you change. You can't just say, nah, give me dust. Nah, it's not going to work out. Yeah, but that's the thing. You're playing a beta, and things can change on a dime tomorrow. So you have to accept it. It's not just give me 1,000 dust or 200,000 dust. I'm almost at 1,000,000 dust. Why? Because while you guys were saying that you wanted to dust things up to level 20, or you guys said that when things used to be bright in dust, you were emptying the shop out as fast as you can, I chose to be extremely selective with what I got. That's the difference. I made decisions. You made a decision, I made a decision. I have a glut of stuff because I also wanted to level stuff up as fast as possible. It was a thing I was working on. It is what it is. You can't say, hey, they took away abilities and the only thing that's fair is I spent time, whatever. So did I. My gear level just dropped. It happened to me too. It is what it is. That's not how it works. Again, they're doubling stuff up. They're giving you more stuff. So why don't they just not give you double? Why don't they just give you 1 of everything? Would that be better? I don't know. You got to take what you can get. It's not easy to do what you're saying. It's not. That's why they didn't do it. If it was super easy to be like, okay, everything we take from the people who had it, let's just give it to it. If it was super easy to do, they would have. It's not. That's why it's not being done. They're trying to get the game out. So it's more important to give you compensation for dust or get the game working so it don't crash. I think it's more important to get the game working. That's being serious. That's just being serious. You gotta take a look at it in a more realistic way. Yeah, it's not the greatest thing. It doesn't feel good to lose something that you've been working on or something that you like, but it's a decision that they're making. You can't make them change it. You gotta roll with the punches. Life ain't fair. It's an object lesson. You can even learn it in video games. Just being serious. To say that they need to give you, they don't need to do anything. They don't even have to give you thank you gifts. They chose to. I say I appreciate what we can get, and I don't think it's worth the energy of saying they should do this. No, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Either you're gonna like it or you're not. That's all you got. They ain't changing it. I'm just being straight. They ain't
9.
changing it.
Balance changes. Primals. Weapons. Banners. Abilities. Trinkets.
How's it gonna read this?
Aisha. Dev note. Aisha is standing out as the strongest primal around, and her range combined with her fearsome damage is to blame. Polar Vortex has great uptime, which is fun to play with and against, but is too punishing when cast directly on top of enemies.
That's their fault,
Deep
don't
Freeze
be
is poised as a defensive tool, though leaves no time for enemies to react against it, as it typically kills non-primal enemies nearly instantly, so it is receiving a hefty damage reduction as well. With that said, all other primals are currently sitting in a happy place. Attack damage decreased, 1233 to 1727 986, 1380. Polar Vortex damage decreased, 2190 to 3066 to 1090.
So the first one's like 400. That ain't that horrible. The second one, attack damage. Yeah, they reduced that by about 400. Yeah, they half. Is it half? Yeah, they halved Polar Vortex. Deep Freeze, this ain't gonna work. This is too much. It's way too much. And then the damage, I think they halved that too. Or even a little bit more than halved it. Yeah, they did a little bit more than half. So, yeah. Because how do you use Deep Freeze? I see a large group of people, I run into them, and then I Deep Freeze so I can get a bunch of kills. That's how I use it. It's not like I can basically use it like anything else. I can't move. I can't do anything. Yeah, if you get caught in it, what's supposed to happen? You're supposed to live through it? I'm not getting what that means. It's the same way. If I aim the Polar Vortex on top of you, or I zone out a section that if you run to that section, you can't go there because there's a Polar Vortex sitting there, and then I start shooting you with a beam, hey, you know, that's how it works. Hey, man, I'll see. I'll play it. I'll play it for a bit and see if it's too weak. If it is, feedback. Give it some more damage. If not, yeah, it's feasible. You can play with it. That's how it works. I don't use Shiver Shroud. I've actually used it and I don't enjoy using it. I actually like Stillness more when I was playing it with Deep Freeze, because I was still getting the heal back somehow. I think it had something that worked similar to the Shiver Shroud. I played Shiver Shroud and I played Stillness with Deep Freeze, and I think it worked with Stillness too. And then I was playing I like I said, I prefer Seeking Storm. Mine is Polar Vortex Seeking Storm, and Polar Vortex Seeking Storm ain't being touched, so I still get a lot of my damage is still coming through. Just because people don't like the combo, it works 100% for me. I can decimate areas and control areas really comfortably. So that's what I choose to play. I always play Seeking Storm, Polar Vortex, ECF. I don't play Shiver Shroud. It's not a thing I do. So to me, it's not a big deal.
1095 to 1533. Deep Freeze cooldown increased, 10s 15s. Deep Freeze damage decreased, 3,125 to 4,375 12 50 to 7.
Deep Freeze is gonna be real bad. That I know. Deep Freeze is gonna be painful. It's gonna be real bad.
1250 to 1750. Assault rifles. Deb note: Lost Dreamer is struggling compared to Northern Warmth, so it's receiving some extra power, specifically in the form of the amount of primal charge it grants on hit. Combined with the infusion and large clip size, this should prove to be a very effective combination. Lost Dreamer. Damage increased, 176 to 247 202 to 282. Primal charge on hit increased, 0.4s 0.2s.
I played it in a match today. The current one is so much better than the one just in the previous patch. It's a lot better. It's that damn slow, and it's the lack of range. And Kyle confirmed when I was telling him, but I'm like, he goes, the ARs is supposed to have longer ranges than I'm like, but right now, the Northern Warmth has a 10.7 and the Lost Dreamer has a 10.6. He's like, that's not right. I was like, what do you mean that's not right? It's supposed to be 12.6. I was like, what? So that's already an error that's in place right now. The freaking Lost Dreamer is supposed to have that killer range, and he said that the Tetrad, there was a mistake they made a long time ago where the Tetrad had that meter. The Tetrad was never supposed to be ever that much longer range than the Lost Dreamer. The Lost Dreamer was supposed to be the one with the really long range. So that was a pretty interesting little thing to find out. I was just like, get out of here. I'm like, when he said that, I'm like, well, okay, that makes more sense with the Lost Dreamer, since I can't basically run at you while I'm shooting it. But if I have a really nice long range and I can stay away from you from other battle rifles, as you run to me to try to kill me, I should probably win because I start hitting you first. And if I can continuously keep hitting you, I should do more damage. So that was nice to hear. So hopefully he'll fix that. Yeah, it's gonna make that slow that's there. Then it doesn't make it so bad because I can start hitting you earlier than you can hit me, and I think that would be cool. So I think they should give the Northern Warmth the 11.1. They should bring back Sincerity down to like 10.6, and then they should move or whatever, like flip Sincerity and Northern Warmth's range, and then up the Lost Dreamer's range. And then I think the ARs in a better place where they're a little bit more deadly because they're doing their damage from a distance. They're long range, mid range weapons, and then the ARs are mid range, short range. I mean, the battle rifles are mid range, short range weapons. If they do that, I think that'll fix a lot of the issues that we're seeing with it. Because currently, boy oh boy, no way, it's not. But like I said, I played it with Mutiny Song, and Mutiny Song actually offsets the loss of speed. Mutiny Song Warbound that you get at level 3 infusion kind of offsets most of the speed issues that you'll have. It actually is really fast. I usually use that build to run around primals. Yes, the day before, I actually fought an Isia, and the Isia never hit me, and they were using Polar Vortex. And I just kept running around it in circles until I knocked the person out of primal and then killed them. And it wasn't like a level 20 guy, it was a level 84 guy. So it's a person who's been playing for a little bit. So it was pretty cool for him not to be able to even touch me. So that was pretty nice. So I'm hoping.
0.2s. Battle Rifles. Dev note, Tetrad continues to be far too strong for its own good, mostly due to the infusion perks.
Duh.
While the gameplay of dealing more damage to lower health enemies is fun, it's a bit too powerful at the moment.
Yeah.
Tetrad. Damage decreased, 200 to 280, 190 to 266. Infusion damage bonus per level decreased, 0.4%, 0.2%.
See, it's not going to be bad for anyone who starts playing before the full release because they're getting 2 Tetrads. By getting 2 Tetrads, you can always get the first infusion. So the Tetrad does not suck. Without the infusion, the Tetrad is hot garbage. It's one of the worst guns in the game. Without level 1 infusion, it's unplayable. I tested it. I have my other build sitting on the freaking emulator. Bro, you can't do a damn thing. Nothing. There's nothing to do. You just die a lot. It can't kill anything. It's that weak. Without the infusion, the gun is useless. It's freaking useless. So, yeah, so what they're going to do is the infusion perk bonus per level is going to be 0.2. So it's 0.2, 0.4, 0.6. No more 0.4, 0.8, 0.2. I mean 1.2. That was just cuckoo bananas. I don't think anybody got to that. Thank God. Or thanks God, because yeah, that would have been
Flak.
bad.
Dev note, the SOD is performing much better than expected, and it's great to see more players experimenting with Flak. For now, Facade is receiving a reduction in effectiveness.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. I'm just trying to say when people start getting the tetrad, if they don't get a second tetrad really fast, they're gonna be asked out really badly. They're gonna be so much trouble. Like people are like, oh, the tetrad's a good gun. Yeah, not without an infusion, it isn't. It needs at least one. Without that first infusion, you can't play it. It's not playable. It's just the truth. The gun sucks. Sucks major balls. It's not good at all. Because you can't, and that's why I keep saying, like, when they keep taking damage away, that's not the answer. All they had to do was fix the infusion. They fixed it. The damage should have stayed. It actually needs a damage buff, not a damage reduction. But hey, because again, if I don't get that second tetrad's not usable. It's just not.
However, Miser is sitting in a good place for now, so we'll be holding off on any tweaks for it to see how the facade changes play out. Anticipate a lot of facade plus Miser loadout combinations.
Ugh.
Facade. Damage decreased, 530 to 742, 424 to 594.
That needed
Move
that.
speed reduction decreased, 40%, 30%. Flamethrowers. Brighten. Clip size increased, 40-60. Pistols. Codiffusion constant. Clip size increased, 812. Reload time decreased.
You said, yeah, I've never understood. Yeah, I said it too. You see me complaining about it all the time. I don't get it. I don't get it still. I think the reason they did it was because nobody was playing them. And I'll be honest with you, I figured out how to play them. And the way it worked was you played Facade with the Miser, and the Miser was the thing that made that combo work. And it used to work in 0.12, 0.11. Like when I found the build and I started working with it, it used to be Facade, Miser, Ring of the Veil, Sprint. Yeah, that's what it was. It was double assassin, double support. That's what I used to play. Oh yeah, you got that right. That's gonna be. It's coming. It's gonna make a comeback for real. For real. That's gonna be nice and strong.
Decreased 2.3 S 1.5 S. Reactivation delay decreased 0.3 S 0.2 S. Mutiny song.
So it shoots faster again, which is sweet. Its reload is super fast. It reloads as fast as a Borson, which is quick. The Borson reloads really fast. So yeah, that's gonna be a big deal. This gun's gonna be, yeah. If you go Cold Diffusion Mutiny song, yeah, it's gonna be real. It's gonna get real fast. And then if you go Power Infusion, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot.
Song. Damage decreased 556 to 778, 473 to 663.
That's fair.
Rocket launchers. All rocket launchers no longer can be fired full auto and are now all released to fire.
Nice.
Base reactivation delay decreased.
That change is big, man. They make it shoot like a sniper rifle. All sniper rifles are released to fire, which is awesome. Because it's super annoying when you wanted to aim the freaking gun, you had to fire bullets. And then the bullets are super slow. So that change is big. That's going to make it a lot easier. Now you can aim the damn thing and shoot it, which is the way it should be played, specifically when it was slow as F. That's a great change. I didn't even realize that was said. So that should be a lot better.
1.5 S 1.0 S. Shot speed increased 1.5. Shot speed per second increased 30-50. Shot speed ceiling increased 60-80. Trial. Base shot speed increased 1.5. Shot speed per second increased 35-40. Shot speed ceiling increased 60-70. Give accelerator. Base shot speed increased 1.5. Damage increased 752.
This thing finally got damage, yo. Finally. I don't know for how long the Mark IV accelerator as a heavy weapon hit like a wet fart. Like it was fast, but it was weak as F. It's the heavy freaking rocket launcher. Why is it hit less than the freaking primaries? That just didn't make any sense, man. Finally, they gave it damage. Finally. Oh. And that 5, when they showed you say hello to my little friend, and they were showing you the Mark 4 accelerator shooting stuff, that 5 is a big deal compared to the 1, because the 1 sucks. The 5 looks really good. So the speed is gonna be, hopefully matrix dodges are gonna be a lot harder when you're fighting somebody fighting a rocket launcher, because right now I see a person firing a heretic. I see a person firing trial. You ain't hitting me with it. Not if I'm actively watching you shoot it at me. That's not happening. If I am like trying to judge early, sometimes I roll into shots, or if I don't see it coming and I get shot in the back and I go flying to the left of the screen, yeah, that can happen. But you are not catching me if I'm watching you shoot it at me. That thing ain't hitting me. That's some bull. That's just not gonna happen. No, they're good. They're solid. They're solid guns. Best guns? They're easy to play. And the way they fix manual aim and auto aim is at a place right now. Like if you're playing a battle rifle, you auto aim. If you're playing a assault rifle, you manually aim. If you're playing a tetrad, you manually aim all the time, because you don't want to waste that infusion. You want to get the health down as fast as possible, so the tetrad can do the work. So I tend to manually aim the tetrad like the whole game, because auto aim missed too much for me, and I want that damage so I can get that bonus as fast as possible. So yeah, it all depends on the weapons that you're using. I like the fact that you can use a shotgun now at point blank. You don't have to aim, but if you do manually aim the shotgun, it actually does a tighter cone and can actually burst out more damage a little bit better than if you just auto aimed it and let it spread real far. Like 1 or 2 of the shots might actually miss, but when you make that tight cone, nothing miss, everything hits in. So there's a benefit to doing it. It's not necessary, but as you become more skilled, it pays to do it. It doesn't pay for you to say like, nah, I ain't doing that, it's not worth it. Nah, it's actually worth it. So I like that. You're not punished for auto aiming, but you're definitely rewarded for manually aiming, which I like a lot. Z Kent said I think they found the bug with the rocket. I mean, with the snipers, why they're taking so long to charge. And he goes, it might be a hot patch that comes out in patch 20.1. So that might be where you see that fix. So he mentioned it in one of the chats.
752-1053-865-1211. Shotguns. Caretaker. Shot count increased. 6-7. Clip size increased. 4-6.
So it's almost back to when it was originally first put out. The Caretaker, it had 7 in its burst, and its clip used to be 7, I believe. Or was it 5? This actually might be better. I think it used to either be 5 or 7. I can't remember which one. But yeah, this is like really good. It'll make a big difference. If you can get 7 shots from your burst, and you got 6 shots to work with, then stuff like multitasker and or running guns will start actually being applicable again. They'll mean something to that gun. So that's gonna be pretty nice. And the Art Mandrel, they gave it at least 1 ammo, and they gave it some more damage. I'd rather 5. But the triplane, somehow the triplane escaped yet again with 10 shots. Freaking triplane, man, come pisses me off. So how many bonuses?
Damage increased 129 to 181, 136 to 191. Clip size increased 2-3. Snipers. Dev note: the patch 0.19 sniper changes have been playing out nicely. but Primal Eye and Prodigal are both lagging behind Luma Prodigal and Objection, so they are receiving some buffs. Primal Eye is receiving a large buff to its Primal Charge on hit to play into the theme of charging your Primal extremely quickly. Other snipers are also receiving a small buff to this stat to account for the charge up time. Primal Eye. Damage increased, 436 to 611, 502 to 703. Primal Charge on hit increased, 1.17 S10s. Prodigal. Damage increased, 644 to 901, 709 to 993. Primal Charge on hit increased, 1.84 S5s. Luma Prodigal. Primal Charge on hit increased, 1.84 S3s.
So he explained, I was trying to understand what was the logic behind this. The logic behind it is, soon as you get a Prodigal or a Lumia Prodigal, nobody plays the Primal Eye, which is 100% true. He's not wrong there. And it's not that bad of a gun. I tried it the patch before, and this patch, it doesn't suck. It's actually pretty decent. It's just nobody plays it. And that one makes it like a primal weapon. Its infusion works that way, and now the gun also is like has the crazy ability of just making you primal really quick. One of the things he was thinking about is he wants it might be too high, which I do think it is, but what they want to do is they want to test it out first, and then they'll tweak it and push it back down. Or the other possibility they were thinking of is make it not work against mobs. Because, bro, you know what's going to happen. You get the Primal Eye, you run down to an Imperial Guardian, pop, 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 reload, pop, 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 pop. So, and I was giving him the timing. So the first 6 shots, 60 seconds off. Next 6 shots, 120 seconds off. Next 6 shots, 180 seconds off. Like, I mean, that's in 3 reloads. In the 4th reload, I'm knocking off 240 seconds. What? That gun reloads 4 times and I got primal. It doesn't take that long to shoot the bullets. And the reloads are like 2 seconds. So yeah, that's all kinds of broken. But I want to play it and see if it is. But that was the explanation behind it. He wanted to make it more attractive to play. So that's why you would want to play it over playing the Prodigal or playing the Lumia Prodigal. That's what makes it work. It's a really fast gun, but that's a really interesting perk. Yeah, that makes that gun highly playable with that 10-second drain off primal cooldown. That's actually pretty damn decent. Banners. just Ranger.
Freeze. Ranger. Dev note, the Ranger banner is providing far more movement speed than we'd like to see, so its banner synergies are being reduced. Movement speed bonus decreased, 10/30/40 50%, 5/15/25 30%. Frost Nova. Cooldown decreased, 11.4 S8s. Slow amount increased, 45% 60%. Harbinger. Cooldown decreased, 90s 45s.
Yeah, man, that Frost Nova is that's fierce. Once stuff start hitting 60% slow, it's almost like they're not moving. Like 65, you become almost immobile. 60% is sickly high. It's coming back a lot faster. That I might start playing Frost Nova just to lock people down if I'm playing sniper. That actually makes sense to play. And also it's a nice counter. People are running at you, you Frost Nova them, and then you pop, 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 and just take them out. So that might be good. Harbinger. Harbinger. I don't like it either. I don't think it's that good of an ability. I was hoping this was one of the vaulted abilities, just like K9 had said. Yeah, it kind of sucks. I don't enjoy it. I don't find it. What I thought it was gonna be and what it turned out to be is kind of sad. I really thought it was gonna be Paragon buff outside modes that weren't Paragon Arena. I mean that weren't Eventide. Merry Christmas. That's what I say.
45s. Duration increased, 8s 15s. Health bonus decreased, 2000 to 2800, 1500 to 2100. Power infusion. Duration increased, 6s 12s.
That's big.
Stasis. Cooldown decreased, 18s 15s. Duration increased, 4.46 S6 12s.
That's big.
Objectives can no longer be contested while under the effects of stasis. Onslaught totem.
I don't understand what that means because objectives can no longer be contested. Oh. They took away Stasis's only important ability, stopping people from taking objectives. I think when you are using stasis, you're dimensionally shifted, so you don't count as being there. That would suck. That was actually Stasis's biggest thing. Do you know how many games I've saved that way? Stasis used to be like a big brain technique.
Totem. Cooldown decreased, 18s 15s. Damage bonus increased, 10 to 15%, 20 to 28%.
Trinkets.
Dev note, a few trinkets are underutilized at the moment, so they're receiving some extra power to hopefully make them more of an attractive option. Clemency Vial is standing out as one of the strongest trinkets, and is receiving a small nerf to its trigger amount to provide enemies with more opportunities to play around it. Clemency Vial. Health trigger decreased, 50%, 35%. Swift Strike Pendant. Primary reload time bonus increased, 20 to 30%, 25 to 50%.
That's even better.
Bracelet of the Firstborn. Primal damage converted to healing increased,
That's even
5
better.
to 7%,
That's
15 to
actually really good,
25%. Kindred Clasp. Health regeneration increased, 100 to 140, 200 to 280. Rectful Circlet. Max health increased, 120 to 568, 200 to 792.
What do you mean stream offline? What? The hell do you mean stream offline? What? The stream's online, you jerk. Let me do a test. What the hell's it talking about? Test. Jerks. You know what it say? Where is this thing? How would you rate your listening? I liked it with hearts. The voice. I don't have to read and mess stuff up. That's why I like J voice. No. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So I got some really cool insights from Kyle, and that's the thing that was nice. We got to talk to him for about 2 hours. After we stopped playing, and then he was cool enough to like literally answer a lot of questions, and then a lot of things we had saw that were like broken, we were able to directly tell him like, hey, this isn't working, or this is a problem. Iconic was able to ask him some questions like what were some of the ideas behind some of the stuff too. So we got to learn a lot about the weapons themselves.